Peace in, peeps! What big pile of shift are we going to dig into today? I'm Steph, and welcome to Steph's Shift Show, the place where headlines meet the heart, where heroes remind us what's possible. Here we uncover hidden biases, call out broken systems, and shine light on bold solutions. Because shifting the conversation is how we build better people, stronger communities, and lasting personal peace. Hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of Steph's Shift Show, where we're going to discuss headlines, hearts, and heroes to uncover hidden biases, talk through broken systems, and today we're going to start a 3-part series about 4-letter words. And look, I'm a God girl, but sometimes I slip. Anyone else? I mean, sometimes it's just more exclamatory maybe in the moment. I don't know. But those are not the 4-letter words that we're going to discuss in these episodes. We are here to create days with more yays and less yucks. And my goal is to help us shift our thoughts, our thinking, maybe our habits, and be aware of how we are impacting our own lives. And when it comes to words and how we choose what words we use, it can impact us. It can impact us with yucks and it can impact us with yays. And so I'm just going to encourage you to think through what 4-letter words you're using, how they're impacting you, and will some of these conversations help guide you toward maybe shifting away from 4-letter words. Today we're going to discuss the word work. W-O-R-K. And work has been synonymous with job. It's been synonymous with grind. It's been synonymous with having to do something to complete, right? Work. And I'm going to be very vulnerable with y'all. And here's where my whole 4-letter word program and conversation started for me. I sat in a room and I was part of a program that said, it works if you work it. And on my sobriety journey, when I was including AA and meetings and sitting in those rooms, and that system encouraged me to obviously get freaking sober. And the mantra was, it works if you work it. And man, I had like a crazy reaction to that, honestly. And I'm glad that I paid attention to the way it made me feel, because I went straight into like, it works if you work it. I've been working at everything since I was 15 years old. I've been working at, my career. I've been working at my sobriety already. I've been working on my relationships. I've been working at, keeping my children safe and productive and loved, and like just work for me felt grind. It felt yuck. And for me to remove a poison from my life, alcohol, and to focus on the mantra of it works if you work it, to get this poison out of my life, I tell you what, it made me want to drive 2 blocks down, jump into that liquor store, grab my couple of bottles for the night, and start again. And so it made me go kind of down this journey of figuring out how that mattered to me and why it triggered me so uniquely. And actually that word work has become a place of us associating it with grind, a job. And for me to remove the poison of alcohol from my life that wasn't going to get me there. And I had to figure out how to reframe that because I was committed to getting better. I was committed to removing that poison from my life. And, 4.5 years later, my gosh, I have been successful. And the word work for me had to be removed. And instead of it works if you work it, and me wanting to drive down to the freaking liquor store and be like, I've worked at everything my whole life and it's not working. I had a moment, a God moment that said, you're just getting intentional. You're making choices. So, what if you just get intentional with your days? You get intentional with what you put in your body. How does that feel, Steph? And that stuck. And I think things that are sticky are fun. And so, being intentional with removing a poison from my life is what ultimately shifted. And I don't know how that lands for any of you, but let's talk through how often do you use the word work? And how does the word work make you feel? October 1st, 2025, Fast Company put out an article about culture rot within workplaces. And only 21% of employees globally are engaged at work. And low engagement costs the world economy over $430 billion. So as you go to work, as you work at things in your life, what is it costing you? And maybe you haven't thought about this. And that's why hopefully you're tuned into Steph's Shift Show, because maybe you too can shift into using language and words that matter to create days with more yays and less yucks. If I hung on to it works if you work it, I mean, you can tell just when I say it. For me, that was not going to be an effective mantra that I was going to put into my sobriety journey that was going to be effective. Did you hear how many times in that sentence I could have used the word work? I got intentional so that it could work. I choose to avoid 4-letter words in my life that make me feel yuck. And our 4-letter words that we use that make us feel yuck might make others also feel yuck. I'm going to work on it tonight. What if you said, hey, I'm going to make progress on that tonight? Hey, I got to go to work. Hey, I'm going to head off to my job now. How can you choose words that matter for you that make positive impact? And in order to do that, I think it just takes the intentions and to pay attention. I challenge you to think how you use the word work. What are you working at right now? And here's some ways that we can reframe a whole bunch of things. So, there's all the sayings that I just said, including like, this is, getting healthy is so much work. This relationship is too much work. Sobriety is hard work. Divorce is, work, but it'll get better. All the different ways that you'll use work. So what are phrases that you use on a regular basis, maybe that are using that 4-letter word? Are you saying, I got to go to work today. Maybe you could be like, headed off to my job, headed off to go make money. Hey, I'm going to go grab that paycheck. Whatever. See how you could reframe it. Do you say, um, getting healthy is so much work, right? Well, how about getting healthy is really freaking fun and energizing and sleep improving and awesome? Choose the words. How does work make you feel? And how does it change your energy? And when you replace it, how will it change your energy? We're not going to escape a life of yucks. Yucks are part of life. Yays are part of life. Which would you rather have more of? So it's simple. Think through how you choose your words. How does the word work for you? Ugh, it's so hard for me to even say it. What words are you being intentional with today to make progress in whatever area in your life you want to make it? Whether it's with relationships, whether it's with your job, whether it's with getting healthy, whether it's sleeping better, whether it's friendships, marriage, parenting. What is it? Are you working at being a better parent? Are you working at your sobriety? Are you working at finding a new job? Ugh, right? Doesn't that just feel yuck? And look, it is just powerful to be able to shift. So, are you going to choose a shift today with the way work shows up in your life? I'd love to hear stories. I'd love to hear examples. And here's the challenge for the next work week. I want you to be intentional for 3 days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't care. Choose your days. For the next 3 days, I want you to think about the word work and how often you use it, how it makes you feel. When you hear others use it, how does it make you feel? And if you're all yay, great. It ain't a 4-letter word for you. But for many, and according to global statistics and work, it's really become a grinding, unpleasant, overwhelming, heavy word. And I don't know about you, but I don't want that. So I'm going to create yays and I'm going to choose different words. How often do you use the word work? How does it make you feel? When others use it, how does it make you feel? And just see if you shift to choosing a different word. Can you give that a try? I mean, I talk about let's get lit, right? Living intentionally today. So, whatever day you choose to start paying attention to the word work, how often does it come up? How often are you using it? How does it make you feel? If it's yuck, switch it, shift away, right? And I gave you some new words that you can use. You can use project, you can use progress, whatever word makes you feel yay instead of yuck. Because life can be heavy, but we choose our heavy. And so, even in a relationship, even in a challenging career place, even in a journey of recovery, there can be yay. How can you create the yay? Are you working on your resume? Okay, what if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go play around with my resume for 30 minutes. I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to have my favorite coffee cup, and I'm going to go play around with my resume. How will that feel? I got to go work on that basement tonight. I mean, fact. Hey, I'm going to go make some progress in the basement tonight. Totally different for me anyway. See how it resonates with you. And then don't forget, I'm going to continue to remind all of us that we have a ripple effect. It goes at least 3 people out. It's been studied at major universities. So the more yay you have, the more yay ripple effect you're going to have on others. And so your word choice of work, you might even find, like me, I still kind of laugh at that shift for myself. And I can literally go back to exactly the chair I was sitting in the meeting when I heard that it works if you work it, and just being like, I mean, I had a just visceral response. And that's fine. Steph's a little dramatic, and I'm okay with that. But I paid attention. I paid attention to the way it made me feel, and it was yuck. And I wasn't sitting in that room because I thought it was fun, or I was certainly grateful for that type of a community, but I wasn't sitting in that room to feel yuck. I was sitting in that room to be part of my journey to shifting my life and getting the poison of alcohol out. And when I heard that work if you work it, it resonated more in staying stuck and wanting to freaking drink, because if you work it, gross. I was sick and tired of working. I was also sick and tired of putting the poison in my body. But when I was gifted that shift in my mind to take out the word work at my sobriety and get intentional, it made such a huge difference. So I don't know what you're working on, but you can make progress. And you too can create days with more yays and less yucks in simple little ways. So, what other 4-letter words come up for you? Pay attention and choose for the next 3 days to pay attention to the word work. How does it make you feel? How often do you use it? What did you get creative about, and swap it with a different phrase, a different word? And then how did that make you feel? And if you can laugh at yourself like I do, laughter is so healthy. I don't know how often you're doing it, but I encourage everyone to lean into more laughter. I think all the relationships, all the world could certainly use more laughter, and that can be a ripple effect. So, all right, think about how you're going to shift your days to more yays and less yucks, and get out there and be intentional doing it. Now, I love to give some little fun AI tips and tricks. What if you prompt into your favorite AI large language model, hey, I use the word work and it makes me feel yuck. Give me 10 phrases about my relationship, my sobriety, my parenting, my college, my job, whatever category that you're using work in the most, and let it give you some fun new phrases. Tell it to be silly, tell it to talk to you like you're a 3-year-old, whatever it is, but kind of get creative, get curious, and get intentional to create days with more yays and less yucks. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode, and tune in to the next one, because I got more 4-letter words for you. And I can't wait for you to see the shift in your own life when you choose to use words that give you yay. All right. Peace in, peeps. Thanks for joining us today on Steph's Shift Show. If today's conversation sparked a thought, a laugh, or a shift in perspective, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your circle. Together, we can shift the story, build better people, and create more personal peace. Peace in, peeps. See you next time.